Hey, how you doing again? Thanks for watching. And I think this is part 2 of day 7 of the European vacation. I did part 1 already in Green Park. I may have made the mistake of calling it Hyde Park. I was wrong. It was actually Green Park across the street from Buckingham Palace. This one's not going to be very long either. Today, obviously, I'll recap quickly. We went to go see went to Buckingham Palace to see the changing of the guard. We didn't get there early enough, so all I saw was the changing of the horse guard, well, entering of the horse guard, if anything. Once I got into the courtyard, I couldn't see a single thing. I heard some screaming, yelling, orders belting out, and I thought, oh, I'm 5'9". This ain't for me. So I told Chris I was going to go to the park and record the first part of the log. So that was it. So after that, I ended up talking to a lady that happened to be walking by with her kid. Talked about Canada a little bit and her country and stuff like that. It wasn't very long talk. I have the ability to just almost talk to anybody. I don't know where it comes from, probably my old man. But regardless, I talked to her for a little bit, and then we went on our way, and she hoped my stay would be good. I went across the park, not sure where I was going, just kind of walking around the park, admiring the gigantic landscape of barren green. When I say Green Park is green, it is green and nothing else. There's no statues that I saw. There's one little monument to Canada off in the corner. I couldn't even find a trash can for my empty teacup. There is some benches, and I think there's a couple of street lights, but it is big. Anyway, I found a bench, sat down, just did some posting on Facebook, and then Chris finished up. We took the Tube, which is their subway. They call it the Tube. We took the Tube to a different location where we went to Harrods. Now, I'll stop and I'll just say a few words about the Tube. There, because I mentioned in a previous log that London is crazy. It's crazy. It's 8 million people. They're all rushing around at the speed of light. So their major form of getting around is either walk, bike. They can't afford the cab. Come on. Living in London, nobody can afford the cab every day or Uber. It's going to be the Tube. The Tube is the major form of transportation for people. So their Tube is much like the TTC, except better. For one, they have probably upwards of 15, 20 lines, whereas our TTC in Toronto probably has, 4 or 5, with a few tiny little offshoots that they call extra lines, but it's just, a few extra stops towards an airport or something. These guys have like 15, 20 different colored lines, and they are not quite as spread out. I mean, between points, you're probably only riding for maybe a full 60 seconds, if that. Yeah, the points are pretty close together. That for being a London subway, it is very clean. There's police guards every so often, so you pretty much feel safer than in a TTC station. And bear in mind, I've only been there a week, and I've only been using the Tube a few days, so, I mean, take it for what it is. But you're getting a point of view of someone who maybe, like yourself, hasn't been here, so it's an outsider's point of view. There's maps everywhere, so it's so easy to find your next point of destination or where you're going. Excuse me. Everything is so clearly marked. Sorry. It makes transportation between point A and point B so much easier. Just everything about the whole process. They use the Oyster card, which is, I guess, their version of a Presto card. After you've traveled for so many trips and racked up enough dollars, I forget what the cap is. My roommate could tell me, and I can maybe update that in another video. it stops and you can just keep riding for free because you've already spent so much money that day. And it's nothing ridiculous. I have to get clarification, but it was something like $6, $10, 15 bucks. I can't remember. But after you've spent that on transportation in a given day, you pretty much ride free the rest of the day. I mean, TTC would never allow that. Even while sitting in the subway, you get, maybe not, I wouldn't use the word frequent, but you'll get periodic announcements about what's going on. We've had to stop ahead of the station waiting for the traffic light. We'll resume momentarily. Coming up next, Chislehurst Station. And then they'd list one or two major points. Maybe this is your stop for so-and-so airport or to connect to so-and-so line. Here at the Piccadilly line, you can transfer to X line or B line or Y line. Like, it's very informative. Like, again, I go back to the map, major big maps, colorful on walls. We watch people like ourselves just walk up, da-da-da-da-da. Here's where we're going, next line. And unlike the TTC, where if you go down the wrong set of steps and you're on the wrong side of the tracks, you don't have to make a 5-minute detour to get around. It's a very short, a built shortcut between the two tracks that you can use. I won't get into that because it's kind of boring, but take away from this that it's a much more convenient system. And I guess at the end of the day, it has to, considering London is at a higher level of efficiency than Toronto. Go figure. They have to be. Anyways, going back, I went to Harrods today, which is a very expensive but very old department store. And we walked through a lot of ladies' fashions, men's fashions, cosmetics to try to find what I was looking for, which was another luggage lock and a luggage tag. So finally, after a short bathroom break, which was also a sub-quest in itself to find in this giant monster of a store, we finally get to the luggage section. But before that, we passed through a clothing section. Saw a really nice sweater, kind of a sweatshirt with a owl on it. It almost looked like a phoenix with the colors orange and yellow, and it just looked fierce, and it was looking awesome. Check the tag. Are you ready for this? Put down your drink. 960 pounds, which with the $1.80 conversion is roughly about, yes, just under 2,000 Canadian dollars. How many of you would pay $2,000 for a really good looking sweater? Not me. And I'm pretty sure not most of you. Granted, you're paying for the name. My roommate told me the name of the brand name was something like Givenchy, if that means anything to you guys. I don't know what that is. I don't deal in AAA brand labels for clothes. So, but it was, I put the shirt back, and once I caught my breath off that gigantic price tag, we proceeded past the wine area. Obviously, you can imagine what kind of wines Harrods has. Very expensive brands. One was coated in a silver plating and had a price tag of £16.90, if I believe. And I don't mean $16.90. I mean £1,690, which translates to roughly 3,000 and whatever. Over $3,000 Canadian. So how many would pay for $3,000 worth of wine? Again, not me. Finally, they had a large bottle of wine that was about as big as my stomach, which, yes, it is a little bigger than most. But anyways, point being, 6,000 milliliters of wine in this bottle. I did not look at the price, but I did take a picture of it. It is on Facebook, and you can blow up the picture and see if there's a price tag on it. Should be, but 6,000 milliliters this bottle contained of wine. You're getting an idea of what Harrods is like now. Anyway, we proceed to the luggage section. I get my locks. I'm looking for a tag. I can't find it, so I ask the gentleman. He points to one on the cash counter. I pick it up. It's leather bound. Turn it over. 40 pounds, roughly $80 Canadian. I'm not paying $80 Canadian for one luggage tag. So I asked him if there's any others. He pulled off a cheaper brand for £6. I said, done. I needed it for the duffel bag, so not a problem. So I got those, got the hell out of there, and we went for lunch at the Princess of Wales pub for the second time this week. We tried last night or the night before. We didn't get in. They had to close early, but we got in today for lunch. Had the fish. I had a gin and tonic with double gin. Beautiful. Really good. We finished that up with lemon tart and latte. That was lunch. Then we went to the Tower of London. Oh, sorry. Correction. We went to the Tower Bridge. I got to get this right. Because a lot of people, when they think of London Bridge, they think of the one with the big towers. That's wrong. London Bridge is actually pretty unremarkable. It's Tower Bridge everybody thinks of. And that's what it is. We went to that, the big towers, the old towers. We went in there. To be honest, I think my roommate appreciated it a lot more than me. I didn't see a lot of interest in it. I mean, it's a very old building. A lot of people worked hard on it, and there was a lot of commemorative plaques. You got to see the workings, the inner engines that lift the bridge. A lot of history goes into it. I mean, it's not as new as you think. It was only built in the late 1800s, the very tail end of the 1800s. It's nothing compared when you look across the Thames and see the Tower of London now. That's what we're going to tomorrow. That's going to have a crap load of history attached to that. But the Tower Bridge is very nice. It's very beautiful. We got to walk up on the top portions, the balconies. It's not exposed to the outside, but it does have a very scary, large glass floor that you can stand on and look at the traffic down below. I don't think I've posted the Tower Bridge pictures yet. I'm going to either tonight or tomorrow, and I do have some pictures of that to add in. Anyways, concluding that, we took a walk down to the Thames and just kind of got a soda, got a lemonade. We just stood there and chilled and talked and stood right next to the Thames. There's a little, I don't know, shelving, a little marble shelving thing there. Excuse me. And we just sat there and talked and watched the water, watched the boats go by, talked about how the London trip is starting to wind down to a close here. My personal thoughts on that. I am looking forward to getting back home. I miss my cats dearly. I miss my family. But I think I could have used maybe another week here. Maybe just under a week. Maybe another 5 days. I can't say there's 5 days worth of seeing stuff. Honest admissions, I would love to go back to the Chislehurst Caves one more time, if only to ask some questions that I didn't get a chance to ask, stuff like that. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm lucky to have gotten this opportunity. Very lucky. Most people don't get this. I'm thankful to everyone that supported me and helped me to get here on this trip. Yeah. So I'm very lucky, and I'm going to be thankful for this, 7 days that I got. And it was an exceptional 7 days. I got to see history that, I would have never learned in depth about, I guess is some kind of way of wording it. That pretty much is the day. This isn't going to be as long a video as the last one, because that was pretty much it. We closed up, we went to a supermarket, got some salads and sodas, and came home and had a cheap dinner here while watching Airplane. And then we took a walk to the souvenir shop down the road and got a crap ton more of keychains, because I just want to get people stuff for this amazing trip. But mostly I want to fill up that British box that I bought. It's almost like a little treasure chest about as big as my chest. And it's got a Union Jack design on it. And I deemed to fill it up with everything from receipts of tours and places I went to to little keychains, magnets, souvenirs. If I can find a little cloth with an English flag on it, let's do it. It's just going to be a box of British memories from this trip. And that's it. So, this is it. Tomorrow's the last day. Tower of London in the morning. Churchill's bunker in the afternoon. And then we're going to start repacking the bags tomorrow night. And then Friday, it's time to bid goodbye to England. Probably forever. As sad as that is to say. A person in, me, I won't get the opportunity again. It would be a remarkable miracle if I ever get another chance to come here. So I won't say never, but I'm going to say probably 95% chance that this is going to be, tomorrow will be my last full day in this country. It's a country I love. It's a country I have personal history with. It's a country that has a lot of its own history that I'm sure I've only delved into a small percentage of. I'm going to miss it, even though it was crazy. I don't think the people were altogether the friendliest, but then as Canadians, we're generally super friendly, and the rest of the world doesn't always click with that. So, I mean, there was a fair share of friendly people here, and I met some really great friends from all over the world, and even some from here in England. Excuse me. But, I'm going to miss England. And we're just going to have a really great day tomorrow, and then we're going to ship off for Paris on Friday, and we'll see what happens then. So, concluding day 7 of my vacation. Thank you for watching. Have a great night, and God bless. Cheers.